welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, with me Shell Bhatnagar. Well, this is Market Today, where we help you understand the closing action on the D Street. It's absolutely flat on the Nifty right now, just about a 4-5 point of a downtick, 24,136. So we are off the low point of the day, but there's still about a 400 point cut on the Nifty Bank. That is the weaker link today. About 0.7% have been lost ground on the Nifty Bank. 52,188 currently on the Nifty Bank. When we look at the sectors, PSU banks are weak today, 1.4% lower. You have private banks, the Nifty Bank overall, FMCG, midcaps, autos. Those are the sectors that are actually looking weaker. But it's the IT space that's been bucking the trend, 1.5% higher in trade as the top moving sectoral index, followed by realty, media, oil and gas, and the pharma space that is holding up into this very, very volatile set of trade that we are looking at. The top stocks on trade on the Nifty include stocks like L&T, right now 2.5% higher. Wipro, Infosys, HDFC Bank, HCL Technologies and Grasim are the top movers on the Nifty right now. What's the top drag? It's Shriram Finance, 3.2% lower. Kotak Mahindra Bank also lower amidst that news flow that is continuing on the Adani Hindenburg saga, where Kotak Group has been dragged into the controversy. ICICI Bank, Bharti Airtel, HDFC Life are the other stocks that are weaker in trade. Good afternoon, Shell.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday and the markets are in absolute fine shape. Absolutely nothing happening on Nifty, and it's much needed after 5 days of a rally which is more than 900 points. The Nifty needs to rest, and it's resting. There's profit booking that's continuing on Nifty Bank, almost 0.75% lower, but it's the IT index just taking it away, mirroring the rise on the Nasdaq, which is at a record high, but strong move coming into the Nifty IT index, about 500 points higher, 37,400 for you. And it's Infosys, it's Wipro, it's TCS, it's Coforge, which are up more than 2 percentage points each, which are driving the momentum. And Sakshi, I just can't take my eyes off JK paper. Remember, we marked it at 5-7% up in the morning. It was already at a record high, but it's now up 18%, 631, needless to say a record high. But what a very, very sharp move that has come in, and this is on very heavy volumes of about 3 crore shares. So this is something to be looked at. When you look at the JK paper volumes in terms of crores that have been traded, it's the second most active traded counter on NSE. I can't remember a time when we've seen that. 1800 crores worth of transactions that have been done. You have L&T, you have Garden Reach Builders. L&T announcing an order of, hold your breath, 35,000 crore rupees coming in from Saudi Aramco. So this is something to be looked at. But what we'll do, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Arun Kejriwal with us, a market veteran of now 35 years, trying to discuss what should fresh money be deployed into. Namaste, Arunji, and a very warm welcome to you, sir, on this Tuesday afternoon. Markets just running away with gains. You know, every single day there are several stocks that go up 20%. There are some stocks that go up 10%, and there are dozens of stocks that add 5%. How are you reading sentiment on Dalal Street, and what are you advising people where to put in money?
So it's a good time to take stock of what has happened over the last 4 weeks. If you remember, 3rd of June, markets were euphoric. On the 4th of June, post the results, we were down in the dumps. And if you see from the lows of 4th of June, the Nifty was up a good 3,000 points, and in less than 1 month. Sensex was up almost 10,000 points. I don't remember having seen these kind of gains in a very, very long time. I mean, if I were to stick my neck out, probably these are the best gains that the markets have witnessed in its lifetime. Where are we today? We are roughly 3 weeks away from the budget, which would in all probability be presented on the 22nd, 23rd of July. This is also the week when futures will expire on the 25th of July, Thursday, which means you are going to have a very volatile 4th week of July for sure. what can we expect between now and the budget? Having gone up 3,000 points, having gone up 10,000 points, we need a correction, some sort of meaningful correction. What do I mean by meaningful? Maybe 500 points on the Nifty and about 1,200, 1,500 points on the Sensex. It is necessary for the markets to remain healthy. Otherwise, they become susceptible to sharp whipsaws that can be dangerous for the health. The best time is now, because if it were to happen after the budget is presented, the perception would be that Dalal Street has not liked the budget. So this is the right time. Maybe what we are seeing are the early indications of elections setting in, which could last a couple of days, maybe 4 or 5 days, and then we get set for the budget rally. This is just to give you my perspective between now and, say, the fourth week of July.
Right. Arun sir, then, since we are looking at a possibility of a meaningful correction, and if it were to happen, it would be great. But what should one do right now? Should one look at booking profits, those who have ridden this last 4 week of a gain? Is it wise enough to sit on some cash at this point in time? Where should one book out, and where should one continue to hold on?
Very well looked at and very well questioned. Yes, you must take some money off the table, and the latest gains that you have done should be the first one to be knocked off. Book some profits. I'm not saying exit the market, but keep something. You never know when a bad day happens and you get an opportunity. Just for example, you mentioned something about Kotak Bank. If I'm bullish on Kotak Bank and I believe it's a
Lost your audio, Arun sir, in between.
to
Yes.
the
Yes.
news, and the it gives you an opportunity to re-enter that share at substantially lower levels than what they were yesterday. Such kind of opportunities will persist in the coming days. Also remember, the number of OFSs that are happening, whether it involves PE investors or even in some case promoters, is rising by the day, and a sale of 1,000 crore in the market gets absorbed in a split second. So we have appetite, we have paper available, so nothing is going to run away. Keep some money. The monsoons are here. You will have rainy days, and they will give you opportunities to re-enter the market.
Well, that's a wonderful exposition of what the sentiment is and a practical orientation on what to do. Knock off profit on the latest ones that you won in. Very well said, Arunji, and this is the reason why we love to listen to you and to get such a wonderful practical advice. अच्छा, बाकी सब छोड़ दीजिए. करेक्शन, पैसा बनाना, 10,000 पॉइंट, 1,500 पॉइंट और 3,500 पॉइंट जो हमने इतनी बढ़त देख ली एट current levels. Now tell us a couple of stocks that you are bullish on, and maybe one or two names where you have invested at this point of time.
Okay. So let's talk of what opportunities the market is giving. I believe the one segment which is the most open is, and sort of a virgin investment, are recently listed shares, say over the last 1 week to say 6 months. A lot of them give you opportunities to invest, and you can look at them because not much of information is available out there. We haven't seen that surfeit of research reports, cut, copy, paste that typically happens in our markets. So you have an opportunity to look at what's happening and reinvest. Some names I can take. If you remember a couple of weeks back when I was on your show, I was talking about Indigene, Aadhar Housing as two such examples. To add to this list, I believe you have a stock like IRM Energy. which seems to be doing very well. It's in the same line of activity as IGL and MGL, and both of them have had a stupendous run over the last 5 7 days. IRM joined in this rally yesterday. It's a late entrant to that field, but it seems to be having potential to perform like these other two stocks did. You can also look at some of the specialty chemical. One such company would be a Blue Jet. What does it do would be your next question. It has two lines of activity. One is the chemical that is infused into your body when you go for a CT scan is what they manufacture. It's a iodine based product which is sold uh, to four large MNCs all over the world who are into this diagnostic business. Their second line of activity is sweeteners. And if I were to ask you the toothpaste that you use in the morning to brush your teeth and that sweet smelling, sweet feeling thing that is there, this sweetener comes from a company like Blue Jet. So these things make that an attractive buy. It's not very far from its IPO price and offers plenty of opportunity going ahead.
Got that. So we will continue to focus on this.
Blue check, did you say?
Blue Jet, BLUE
I'm sorry, I
and
couldn't
Jet.
catch the name.
Blue Jet Healthcare.
BLUE.
E.
Okay. Okay, yes, Blue Jet. Of course, I have it in front of us. 412 rupees. Okay, we'll keep an eye out on this one. And of course, IRM Energy. This is a little known stock. They have this network in Firozpur in Punjab and somewhere in Gujarat as well. This is, of course, the CNG network. And yes, we saw a high of 658. It hasn't participated in the rally as yet. And if MGL and IGL are near 52 and record highs, this is something that needs to be looked at. Arunji, my next question is on the way prices are moving in the sugar and paper space. Anything that catches your interest from the old world smokestack business group companies which are still undervalued in sugar or paper, which may give decent returns?
So one share that I like in the sugar space, which is a good momentum trading stock, is Bajaj Hindustan. It's in the range of 40-42. It offers you plenty of opportunity. It's a highly traded voluminous stock. So you can pick up some quantity, you can trade it on a daily basis, you can trade it on a couple of days basis, and it gives you good money. Even if the share falls a little bit after you buy, you can continue to hold. It keeps on moving in a range-bound manner. It has turned around the corner. It has positive news flow. And we need to understand that sugar is a very important commodity from the farmer's perspective. The ethanol story is something which is all about sugar. So you have a huge amount of news flow. The other stock that you can look at in sugar is, of course, Balrampur Chini, and anything about sugar starts and originates from Balrampur Chini. If you talk at the paper space, I have not looked at the price today, but one share which always comes to mind is TNPL, purely because it's a very interesting play. It barters bagasse for coal and gets it from Tamil Nadu, which is another large area of sugarcane. So it buys the bagasse actually. I mean, it sort of barters the bagasse and supplies the sugar mills with coal so that they can run their boilers on coal and they get the bagasse for making paper.
Okay, got that. So that's the view on the paper stocks as well. Arun sir, also wanted to ask you, how about the IT space? What is your view here? In just about 10 days from now, we will have the earnings begin. The IT space has been showing us some buoyancy. Do you think that even if the earnings are not up to the mark, if we go by the kind of Accenture report that we had got a few days ago, how should one be really looking at the entire IT space?
So, Sakshi, the market is an eternal optimist. And I don't think we can change that underlying feeling. There is a belief that this is the quarter where IT will turn around, they will show you signs. It's a separate story that we have been feeling the same way for the last 3 quarters. But keep your fingers crossed. If we get signs of a turnaround happening in the large IT companies, typically results of these companies are declared between the 11th and the 14th of the month. You could see a sharp movement. There have been rallies already in the IT space, but if that turnaround feeling comes in, IT is the space where you should be looking to put your money. But please understand, one company will not turn around the sector. You need to have two, three consecutive companies posting good results from the large pack. Similarly, you should see some positivity from the mid-sized IT companies, and then you would have one large sector which can drive the Nifty upwards.
Okay. Right. The other thing, Arun sir, which we wanted to discuss is as far as Patanjali Foods is concerned, big development that we had with the way of Patanjali Foods now acquiring the non-food business of Patanjali Ayurved. We had the management also talk about how they are optimistic on growing to scale the current business that they are going to be acquiring in terms of home care, personal care, skin care. What is your own sense? 1100 crore rupees they are going to be spending, 3% of royalty fee right there. Operationally speaking, where do you see Patanjali Foods really going forward from here with this new development underway?
So, Sakshi, this is a development which has been implemented. It was announced, I think, about 7, 8 months ago, just after the company had done their FPO, that they would operationalize and make these two different companies, one the FMCG food business of the group, and the second the other activities which include the the herbal, the cosmetics and other divisions. Operationally, this becomes excellent for the company. It maximizes their efficiencies. It gives them an opportunity to leverage the products. And this company also, the second company, which is currently not listed, would at a later date get listed. So they are able to enjoy the benefits of all. And while Baba Ramdev is considered to be a yogi, he is working like a sure shot businessman, knowing exactly what he wants. So I think it's a longer term play. Both the companies of the Patanjali group would benefit because of this restructuring, which is now completed.
Arunji, just listen to the background on the deal. 1100 crores has to be paid in tranches, 5 tranches, and they are adding 2771 crores worth of top line, 500 crores worth of EBITDA, and of course it's a profit making company. We were speaking to the management today in the morning. I told them I could speak to Arun sir and we could make a bid for Patanjali Ayurved. Do you think it's good thing to do?
You want the two of us to bid for Patanjali or Ayurved or invest in the share?
I was just thinking that we'll deploy your dividend proceeds, annual dividend proceeds, in buying Patanjali Ayurved.
But I believe it's not for sale. It's a deal which has been done. This was sort of pre-decided some time ago. And when they were restructuring the two companies, they had already worked out this, and some details were shared around the FPO time as to what they would be doing. This is a culmination of that exercise, and it will put both these companies on a solid footing. So it's not a deal which has happened now, but it is
Right.
just the culmination, execution, which is now happening.
Sakshi, you must understand the nuance of what Arunji has left unsaid. I requested him that we'll invest his annual dividend income into buying out the three businesses of Patanjali Ayurved, which have been sold for 1100 crores. He did not deny that.
Shell, I'm sharing with you exactly what we were told when the FPO happened. I had the good fortune of meeting Baba Ramdev, and we had his CEO also there and talking, and they were explaining this deal in great detail to analysts as to what is the plan, because there was a lot of overlap between the two products, similar businesses being held in both entities. So they brought them together, Ruchi Soya, Patanjali, etc., and demarcated what activity would be done by one company, so there is no overlap. I think it's a brilliant move without doubt. But like I said, this was a move which was done almost 12, 15 months ago. It's only now culminating with this exercise.
Absolutely. Acha, Arun sir, before we let you go, I'd like to, take your stand back view on the Aditya Birla group as an investment thesis. See, we have seen value being, how should I say, had very well in the Kirloskar group this year and previous year. Mahindra and Mahindra group over the last 2 or 3 years, and of course investors have made tons of money within the Adani set of stocks. Now when you look at the smokestack world of Aditya Birla Business Group, you have Hindalco, you have Ultratech Cement, you have Grasim, then you have new world businesses such as AB Apparel, you have an AMC, but somehow they are not known as wealth creators. But these stocks are now moving. Look at Century Textiles, look at Century Inca. Century Inca, you and I used to discuss 20-25 years ago. No value has been had out of it. What do you think is now happening within the group which might benefit long-term shareholders?
So you have hit the nail on the head. Let me take you back into nostalgia. I remember when we had Aditya ji at the helm of affairs, and I used to get the opportunity to meet him once in a while. He used to always talk about shareholder wealth, creation of wealth for shareholder, because he believed that this was the way forward. Somehow or the other, the transition when Kumar Mangalam came in, this thought process took a backseat. Intentionally or unintentionally is not the way to comment at this point of time. But now, consciously, they are deciding, they are moving towards creating wealth. I believe ABFRL is one such example where they bought over TCNS. TCNS was not doing too well under the management of the erstwhile promoters. After the takeover, they gave an option to merge the shares. They gave an option to buy back, and this company seems to have turned around. Wealth has been created. Grasim entered the paint business. So while that company is not a separately listed company or anything, but there is some wealth creation that is happening. I believe the group's acquisition of a strategic stake in India Cements is another way of consolidating its position in the core business of cement. which keeps them ahead of the closest competitor, which is also a Adani. So I believe they have got their act together. They are conscious of the fact that we haven't returned much to shareholders. And if, God forbid, you start having the erstwhile form of AGMs, which are again physical, which were stopped during COVID, there could be a lot of backlash where small people complain, "Humko kuch mila nahi." So I think it's a good move. And if a large group like the Aditya Birla group actually gets back into wealth creation, it should augur well for the group as well as the market.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank you, Arun sir, for sharing these pearls of wisdom with all our viewers. And it's always a true pleasure to host you on Business Today to seek all those insights that you have to share and all those anecdotes as well, which will also help all the first-time investors really have that long-term view. When you give us such historic anecdotes and how companies have been and how they have traversed this long path. So always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for being with us on this very special edition. Viewers, we'll now get you something very interesting. Defense is something that does not go out of fashion, and even today you have slew of stocks that are continuing to hover at all-time high levels. Let's talk about GRSE, the stock of the week per se, or from last week continuing up until now. GRSE is at a record high for the second day in a row this week, and we have now Asim now joining in, my colleague, to help us understand how the stock has performed over the last few days, months and even years. Asim, take it away.
Thanks, Sakshi. So the Garden Reach Shipbuilder stock has hit record high for the second consecutive session today. The rally in the stock has been due to the rupees 170 crore contract which the company has signed with the Defence Ministry of Bangladesh. And this company is involved into warship building for Indian Navy and the Coast Guard. I would like to mention that defense stocks have been rallying off late because they have received a sentiment boost from Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's announcement that the government has set a target of rupees 50,000 crore per annum for the next 5 years for defense exports. In the last fiscal, the government exported rupees 21,000 crore worth defense equipments. So it's almost more than doubled in the previous year's figure. And also he has also mentioned that they would be prioritizing Make in India theme in defense production. So these are the sentiment boosters which have been pushing the stocks higher on the stock exchanges. So this Garden Reach Shipbuilder stock is up 206% in 3 months and it has rallied 989% in 2 years. In the current session, it saw the highest turnover on BSE. It has a high beta of 1.1, indicating high volatility in a year. In terms of RSI, it is trading in the overbought zone. So it has a RSI of 79. In terms of short-term and long-term moving averages, it is trading above all of them. Despite multi-bagger returns, the analysts we have spoken to, they said they are bullish on the stock. So Jigar S. Patel from Anand Rathi said he sees a further upside at rupees 2,450 for the stock. He expects the stock to trade in a range of rupees 2,000 to rupees 2,500 for a month. Mandar Bhojane from Choice Broking is also bullish on the stock. He has given a target price of rupees 2,700 and rupees 2,800 in the near term. He said the stop loss can be maintained at rupees 1,700. Back to you, Sakshi.
Okay, got that. Well, thanks Asim for all that update. Let's also welcome our guest on the show now, viewers. We now have Prashant Tapsi now joining in, research analyst and senior VP of research at Mehta Equities. Welcome, Prashant. And you heard my colleague Asim really talk about how Garden Reach Shipbuilders has had a one-way up move, 100% rally in just 1 month, 200% rally in last 3 months, and a near 1000% rally in last 2 years. That's the kind of rally that we've seen in these stocks, and therefore there is all the more reason that more and more investors are feeling FOMO of not having made the best of a rally that they have seen unfold within the defense pack. Your sense on the stock and the whole area of or the whole sector of defense?
I think the new government is going to continue the focus on the policy and the infrastructure development in terms of defense as well as railway. So that confidence has been back in action, and even I think the Q1 earnings will also support the way how the prices are moving. If you see the update of IRDA last week, wherein they have given their AUM growth of more than 100%. So I think the price movement as well as the earning movements will also match in the Q1 earnings. And so what the markets are giving a very thumbs up for the price. And every time whenever shipbuilding companies or defense companies get a dip of 1 or 2 days, there is a huge cash flow coming into markets from the retail as well as from the domestic institutions to buy these stocks and not to miss these stocks for next 1 year.
Namaste Prashantji, a very warm welcome to you, sir. Markets are in fine shape and doing extremely well on the small cap and the mid cap size. For the research that you do for your clients and of course for yourself, name us a couple of stocks in the small cap and the mid cap space where you find valuation still attractive and that positions can be taken on the long side for say 18 months, 2 years at a time.
So I think one stock which we are continuously tracking is Imagica World. So I think that is a one stock with a very small cap, mid cap category stock, and I think there is a lot of consolidation happening in the company, with where promoters have consolidated a lot of their other profitable assets to get into the main Imagica as a company. I think that will drive the revenue growth as well as rationalization on the back of consolidation, wherein the EBITDA margins will be growing at least 200 to 300 basis points from Q1 itself. So I think this is the one stock where a good multi-bagger stock for 2 to 3 years, as well as a medium stock where we can at least get a target of 100 rupees by 1 or 2 quarters. So this is one stock which we are continuously tracking as well as recommending our clients. On the other side, again, I think Tata Motors, it may be a large cap stock, but I think that is the one stock which we are recommending continuously on the back of the huge growth in terms of vehicles as well as the EV growth. And there is a demerger story again still pending, which is going to happen in next 12 months. Tata Motors, I think that can deliver more than 20-25% return in next 1 year. And I think the numbers which we are waiting for the Q1, I think that will also be a very super numbers for the stock, and the immediate target for the stock would be around 1100 rupees.
Okay, got that. Prashant, the other space that I wanted to discuss with you today is the entire, auto ancillary space, something that we have been discussing, for the past many days. Again, Samvardhan Motherson is now among the top movers within the F&O space, 3.5% higher. Several others were moving and a buzz in trade in the morning. Stocks like Talbros Auto, some of such stocks that were buzzing. Kirloskar Brothers was doing well in the morning as well. So how are you looking at the auto ancillary space, and where do you see momentum continuing?
I think before we talk auto ancillaries, I think autos numbers which recently we saw with respect to Hero Honda, with respect to Tata Motors, Maruti, there was a good growth. I think YOY as well as month on month, we have seen 5 to 15% kind of growth in all the auto sectors. Obviously, this sales numbers, this month on month numbers should be supported with auto ancillary in terms of their order book, in terms of their margins growth going forward. I think a best proxy play should go with auto industry would be a auto ancillary company. In this, we like Motherson Sumi a lot, and we have a good long-term track on this stock. So I think the sector would be very much in positive trend. Lot of fund managers as well as PMS fund managers are looking to have positions in this, and I think this is the best way to play the whole auto industries rather than getting into a stock directly.
Okay, got that. So that's the auto ancillary pack for you. Let's also just keep an eye out on what's buzzing within the broader market space. Of course, paper space is something that we've discussed, and there are several of the stocks that are up in double digits today. JK paper is up 19%, Patanjali paper is up 15%. Then you have Genus paper also, Orient paper. These are the stocks that are up 12% each higher in trade today. Several other stocks that continue to move up. We also have Burnpur Cement, Mirza International, Skipper Limited is up and about in trade today. Allied Blenders is hovering. Of course, it's the first day of move which we are seeing for this one. DCX Systems is continuing to stay put around 14% higher in trade. Lots of stocks to discuss and sectors particularly as well. Paper stocks. Where are you? Which is your top favorite among the movers that we've been seeing today, Prashant?
I think JK papers would be the best in class paper stock. One should look at investing for a short term as well as long term. With respect to the rise in the paper stocks today, I think there is a channel check report saying that lot of prices have increased on the bottom of the pyramid. I think so that is getting to be on a very better side, and I think margins of Q1 would be better than what Q4 earnings were there, and I think JK paper would be a stock one should focus on with a technical target of 700, 720 for at least 1 quarter before the earning comes.
Right, 3:08 p.m. and Sakshi, I think JK paper just recorded its largest volume traded in more than a year, 1954 crores so far, and we still have 21 minutes to go. A couple of stocks that need to be kept on radar for the next maybe 2 or 3 trading sessions. One is Zomato, very strong move coming in, 2.5% higher. The beauty is that 1180 crores is the daily turnover today compared with a 5-day average of 880. So this is a breakout that's happening on the charts. Let's get Prashantji to comment on what Zomato is likely to do.
Fundamentally, I think a lot of changes are going to happen. Even the adjusted EBITDA is going to look like very much profitable very soon, and every quarter there would be some kind of improvement in the adjusted EBITDA. But if you see the outlook of Zomato as well as the industry, how it is growing, from last 6-4 months, I am seeing that lot of Zomato delivery boys are on road. If you check the traffic, there are almost 5 to 6 Zomato delivery people traveling around the road. That shows the demand and supply of Zomato. And even though the way how habits have changed in our lifestyle, I think Zomato will play a very much important role to have the same taste of hotel at home. So I think fundamentally I am very much optimistic on this. Technically, I think 220, 225 can be a trading target, but overall target can deliver at least 20% CAGR for next few years.
Okay, and the next stock in focus is NBCC. This is at 161 rupees, a fairly strong move after 5-7 days of a downtick. Prashantji, what are the charts of NBCC telling you?
I think it's a right call, and you just remembered me to give this call to my clients. I think one should look at investing and trading this stock at right level with a target of at least 170, 175 as a technical target swing trade. One should look at this immediately, and I think with a stop loss of at least 155 can be a stop loss, and 172 can be a target. Technically looks very good.
Okay, got that. Let's again look at some of the other space stocks that we can track and ask Prashant to give his view. Prashant, we've seen Allied Blenders list today, but do you see this liquor space having some traction? GM Breweries is up about 20% in trade today. Is it only because of new entrants coming in, competition, buzz, a lot of action happening, or do you still see a structural move that one could tap within this entire space of liquor?
So I am tracking GM Breweries from many quarters. I think before the results, the stock is always in action. I think next 15-20 days there is a result date announced already where GM is going to announce the results. Whenever there is a result date 15 days prior to that, this stock is always on action. I think that is the only reason why GM is up, not because of ABDL is getting listed today. I am very much not so optimistic of the company which got listed today because of 2 3 reasons. One is on the competition in the market. Other on the second point would be on the brand of officer choice. I'm not so comfortable in terms of the volume growth which they are going to bet on. The only objective of the IPO was to retire some kind of debt as well as some kind of no internal uses of the fund. But I think there is a lot of concern with respect to volume growth for Mr. ABD, which got listed today. And we were very much negative on the IPO, and I think the listing was very much decent, 15-20% on the IPO price. Whereas GM Beverages, I think it's a pre-result rally, and I think if someone has already bought it at least near 680, 670 or 700, today morning we saw the stock at 715 and we missed this stock to get this kind of return. I think for next few days this stock can deliver another 10-15%, but again it's a very much under profit booking zone.
Okay, got that. Well, apart from this, it's the holding companies that are again coming back in flavor today. Rane Holdings is up by about 5.5%. You have SIL Investments up 8%. Vardhaman Holdings up. Jindal Poly Investments up and about. Stel Holdings, Bajaj Holdings, there are a buzz with action. How have you assessed the recent move here, Prashant?
I think there are two ways to look at these things. One was some kind of holding structure, SEBI regulation, where there was some kind of benefiting to the holding company. But second thing one should look at it, the holding company stocks, the company which are holding these unlisted or listed stocks, their valuations are already rise. I think the gap of the holding company valuation to the book value is getting reduced and narrow to narrow. I think that is the only reason why these stocks are up. And I think going forward, the difference between a holding company and the listed valuation will have very much narrow range. The historically almost I think 30-40% was the difference between the holding company as well as the holding value. I think that will reduce to 20-25% in these coming few days. So I think that is the only reason why these stocks are up.
Right. We'll also focus on another PSU stock which is IREDA. Sakshi, very interesting data coming in on this one. This will be the first close above 200 rupees after February. So there were just 2 days when IREDA had blasted off, remember. We used to discuss that pre-budget run-up that was happening, and there was a very, very strong rally happening from maybe 100 rupees to 200 rupees. Well, after that it went through a series of corrections, and maybe after 6 months now, 4 months now, you get a close above 200. Prashantji, what is IREDA likely to tell you?
I think we continue to remain positive on IREDA, basically on the way how the industry is moving with respect to the renewable sector. I think budget will have some kind of allocation towards the renewable sector, as well as lot of expansions are going to be happening in India. So that will be fully funded by IREDA, and that is the reason why the stock is up. Plus the Q1 business update which was out yesterday, I think it is the AUM has almost grown by 100%, and the loan sanctioning disbursement also has grown by 100%. I think that is the reason why the stock is moving very strong, and I think Q1 numbers will have a very good earning growth, which is getting discounted in the price right now. This is a portfolio stock, not a trading stock, and I think the stock can deliver at least 50% more from these levels for next 1 year. So it's a buy and hold for 1 year.
Okay, what we'll do, ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the last 15-minute stretch of the market. Let's look at what the FNO has told us. Deepak Nitrite. This is a counter to look at. Prashantji, I'll request you to take a look at Deepak Nitrite. Sakshi, this is the highest OI gainer in FNO space, 26% today. And remember, we had this conversation with one analyst yesterday, who mentioned that if you are looking at chemical stocks, look at those where margin has not contracted over the last 18 months, and that will give you an idea about where the next cycle will start. Therefore, Deepak Nitrite, let's look at it, and let's also look at how Motherson is moving. 204, this is a record high. I think we've just discussed it a little earlier also, 3.1% higher. So two stocks, Prashantji, Deepak Nitrite at 26.95, and of course Motherson Sumi at 204.
Yes, I think the stock is getting discounted with respect to the Q1 earnings again. There may be a good margin improvement in their EBITDA as well as PAT. And then even industry is changing a lot. And I think there is a lot of benefits getting towards the China plus one strategy again, and a lot of order books are getting executed. I think the stock can do 2800 technically, I think in next 1 or 2 months, and later look for a multi year trigger above 3000. So my first target would be around 2800, and again later to that, near to the Q1 earnings, 3000 would be my comfortable target.
Okay, got that. So that's Deepak Nitrite for you. Apart from this, are you also looking at the IT story, Prashant? And because the entire space is a buzz, like you pointed out for GM Breweries, earnings are also on way for the entire IT pack, which will start beginning from I think 10th, 11th of July, and of course we'll be in a thick of action very, very soon. There is already a buzz right before the earnings. What should one's strategy be ahead of
I, I,
results?
I think one should go long at these levels again with respect to Q1 earnings. When we just look at the Accenture's guidance update last few days back, there were some kind of supportive comments to the Indian IT industries. I think it's a bottom out story for a sector, and I think in this space, I think we like persistence a lot, and that stock can do better from these levels. I think the moment is already over in terms of Infosys or TCS or Wipro, but persistence is the one mid-cap IT stocks which we are focusing and recommending to our clients, and that stock can do better from these levels at least. So we are optimistic, bullish on the first quarter as well as second quarter in the IT sector. There can be some kind of guidance improvement as well as margin improvement in the first quarter itself.
Okay, got that. So that's the view on the IT space. But 320 almost. Prashant, any BTST, STBT trades that you would like to highlight for our viewers? Markets are just about 15 points lower, so it's flattish with a negative bias right now. But what should investors keep an eye out on?
I think L&T would be a stock which had not performed well in the recent times, that can do better. And there is a news or a rumor kind of saying that it is getting a biggest order, which is more than 30,000 crores, and that may be a very positive move for the stock. And that stock can do at least 3,700 on the charts again. So the 70-80 rupees momentum on a BTST would be a good momentum, and I think it would be the stock for BTST.
Fair point. Like I said, we are in the last 10 minutes. Sakshi, let's start wrapping up what we've seen in the markets today. So, flat trade on the Nifty, more or less on expected lines. Remember, we've had a very, very sharp run up since last Monday when the Nifty was at 23,350, and we've rallied almost 900 points, if not more. So, a bit of a clawback from there. The Bank Nifty has corrected fairly sharply. You've seen an all-time high of 53,000 fairly recently, and from then on we are now at 52,180. So a nice 1,300-1,400 point correction. Today the index slipped 381 lower. The IT index has more than made up for the loss that you see on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. Remember, within the Nifty, IT has a very, very strong support. So if IT were not up 1% today, the Nifty would have slipped dramatically. Within the IT index, the stocks that have performed very well today are, of course, Coforge, 2.5% higher, 56.55. The counter is now above its 200-day DMA. Infosys index heavyweight on the Nifty, 1.8% higher, Wipro 1.9% higher, and a percentage point uptick on TCS. Fairly strong moves coming in on the IT segment. Within the most active list of stocks, well, there is absolutely no denying that paper took it away. 20% on JK paper for a very short while. It's now 18% higher. Very, very strong volumes when you look at how it's traded. About now 2,168 crores worth of transactions. This is the second most active traded counter on the National Stock Exchange today. L&T, 3,500 crore worth of order wins from Saudi Aramco, 3% higher, and about 1,770 crores worth of shares traded. No stopping Garden Reach, we've discussed it so many times, 4% higher, record highs. And the other counters that are hitting fresh peaks: Godrej Properties 4.2% higher, 3294. Sundaram Fasteners 1397. This is the auto ancillary theme that's working very well. We've just discussed Motherson. There's Craftsman, there is CIE India, there is 3M India from the auto ancillary space, that's also hit record highs. And within the broader framework of the government set, you have Petronet LNG and Mahanagar Gas that are at fresh peaks. Sakshi, what have you seen?
Well, Shell, apart from this, I wanted to also discuss the real estate space with Prashant. Again, there is a buzz on Godrej Properties today. It's up by 4.5% within the F&O space. Sobha is also up and about. Again, another 4.5% uptake on that one too. How are you looking at the real estate space also now, Prashant? We had been seeing, of course, this entire space abuzz with news of pre-sales, sales, launches really coming in, and that kept keeping the entire space quite buoyant. We will now have to see in the earnings whether all of those sales are actually translating into books and profits as well for the companies. How would you really look and approach the real estate sector now?
Again, two ways to look at this thing. One is the interest rate scenario right now. Still, everything is very much comfortable in terms of banks. There are no increase in interest rates or not even decrease in the interest rates. At the 8%, 8.5% of home loan rate, which is continued from last 1 year or 1.5 years, I think that is very much comfortable for a new home buyer like you and me. I think the higher luxury items, luxury goods are getting sold a lot, and I think Prestige, Oberoi, the Godrej, these three stocks are buzzing a lot. I think today in the morning there was a news on Godrej Property where they have a pre-sales of 1,200, 2,000 crores worth of sales. I think that too from a Bangalore city. So I think that kind of news flows are coming, and Q1 business updates are about to come from a lot of real estate companies in next few days. So if Godrej Property is doing so, the other the real estate companies like Shobha, which is also biggest in Bangalore, the Brigade, I think that is also biggest in Bangalore, that will also give the same kind of growth. So I think for time being, for a short term, the real estate stocks will do better until unless there is a change in the interest rate scenario. Whereas with respect to budget, again, there will be some kind of tickering done in the housing loan allowance and all. Plus, there would be some kind of middle class people getting benefit, lot of cash into their pockets. So that will be used for home loans as well as lot of other spendings. So markets are going towards that.
Okay. Right, we'll be continuing to keep an eye out on this space as well. Apart from this, let's again look at the broader market space to see if there is any other new addition sectorally. Sugar space, are you looking at? I wanted to discuss with you, Prashant, even earlier. Is that space, on your focus radar? We discussed the liquor space, but what about the sugar space as well? Again, the focus in the budget could be again on ethanol blending. Some such announcements could be coming in. Monsoons are here, and the entire sugar space again will be in focus. There are some stocks that are buzzing 2-3% higher in trade even today. But what's your overall stance here?
I think the overall stance in the sector would be very much positive, and specifically the ethanol story which you just described. The upcoming budget will have a lot of headlines, and even the target of a government where they want to go from 10, 15 to 20% mix of ethanol into the petrol. I think that's a great story. If you want to play the ethanol story, I think Praj Industry is the best in class stock one should focus on, with a target of at least 1,000 rupees for next 1 year. And if you want to play a sugar stock, technically I think Dwarkesh Sugar looks good at these levels, 75, 76 rupees currently. And I think there is a good move of 10, 15 rupees as a swing trade for 1 week. Dwarkesh Sugar would be a good stock to look at.
326, ladies and gentlemen, just 4 minutes left. Look at Trent, 0.5% higher, 55.39. Remember, the quarterlies are now upon us, and we'll be looking for Trent to update its business from the Zudio format. These are stores which helped Trent move from 1,800 rupees to 5,500 rupees in the blink of an eye over the last 9 months. So keep an eye out on Trent. Fresh record high on Dixon Technologies, 12,518, 0.5% higher, and of course Zomato 2.5% higher, 209. Let's look at the volume buzzers within the Nifty Alpha Index. One I'll mark. This is Sakshi Angel One. Disappointment. There were hopes that an intraday sort of rebound might happen, but no such thing is there. 8.9% lower, 23.53. This is the direct aftermath of changes in cost structure of brokerages that SEBI has mandated, and Angel One now at 23.51. Very strong volumes, 53.68 lakh shares traded. Also in pain is Bombay Stock Exchange, 2,489, 3.31% lower on 10 lakh 66,000 shares. Fairly strong sell-off coming in here. Surprise, surprise, Hindustan Copper 1.5% lower at 315. Till very recently the stock was above 400. So intense selling pressure coming in here, and profit booking happening on Birla Soft 1% lower, 710. Glenmark 1.6% lower, 1247. Sakshi, what are you seeing? Nifty down 21, Bank Nifty down 389, Nifty IT up 400.
Absolutely. There are several pockets in the interim which are warranting our attention. Textiles, for example, there is no stopping since the time we started to check them. Shell stocks like Nahar Poly, even DCM, Novelil, and also Zodiac Clothing. Talk about all of these stocks, Ashima Limited. These are all up and about 5-10% higher in trade. Prashant, have you been tracking the textile story of late too, and looking at any moves?
As a sector, I am just tracking on reading a lot of headlines, but not as a stock specific recommendation. We don't recommend anything on this textile sector right now. But I think government is looking to give some kind of SOPs, some kind of PLI schemes for textile sector, and that can be the only reason why textile stocks are suddenly looking very good right now. But in terms of stock specific action, I don't have any recommendation in textiles.
Okay, got that. Well, we'll start to wind up the show now. Thanks a lot, Prashant, for being with us on this special edition and helping our viewers really navigate through the moves today. Little volatile trading session is what we have witnessed, choppiness all across. 0.1% lower is what we are looking at, how the Nifty could be shutting shop. 24,114, albeit above that 24,000 mark for the third straight session as well. It's the Nifty Bank that has been a big laggard today, that has dragged the overall sentiment on the D Street, including both private PSU banks and even the financial services space as well. Autos dragged, FMCG, metals, consumer durables, they were also down and about, but IT space that continued to be buoyant, bucked the trend, and made up for what was lost in the banking space overall. And IT, realty, oil and gas, pharma, that stayed in the green. L&T remained the top mover, as Shell highlighted on that news flow, 2.7% higher for this one today. And as BTST was highlighted by Prashant as well, that he's going to be watching out for how L&T moves even tomorrow. Wipro, Infosys, Tata Consumer Products, HDFC Bank, ONGC, Coal India are among the top movers on the Nifty today. On the downside, again, you have Shriram Finance, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Bharti Airtel, Tata Motors, IndusInd Bank as the top drags. F&O movers, Metropolis Healthcare tops the charts 4.5% higher. Godrej Properties 4% up. Deepak Nitrite, Samvardhan Motherson, L&T were among the top movers. On the downside in the F&O space, you did have names like Canfin Homes, profit booking, Vodafone Idea about 3.5% lower in F&O, IDFC Limited, Manappuram Finance, some of these stocks that have seen some profits being shaved off as well, but it's the IT space all the way that held on to the gains. 25 points lower is what the Nifty has ended with, about 24,116 right now. We'll wrap it up at that. Many thanks from both Shell and me for being with us on the closing edition, but do stay tuned as action continues even beyond the stock market hours. Thanks a lot for watching us, viewers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special edition on Business Today Television. This time we'll be focusing on Patanjali Foods Limited. Mr. Sanjeev Asthana, CEO of Patanjali Foods, is with us. This is related to a transaction that Patanjali Foods has done with Patanjali Ayurved to purchase its hair care, skin and dental portfolio for a value of about 1100 crore rupees. Good morning, Mr. Asthana, and good morning, Sakshi. Very warm welcome to both of you. Mr. Asthana, coming to you first. What does this acquisition mean for Patanjali Foods in terms of extending its brand presence into hair care, skin and dental?
No, so currently we don't, for clarity purposes, we don't have existing portfolio of dental, hair or home sort of products. This is a big addition to the portfolio that we have. It was one of the stated intents with the company strategically had announced that we will be consolidating the FMCG portfolio. We are going to sort of make the company one of the very major companies on the FMCG side. So I think this is a major step in that direction, where we are acquiring the non-foods portfolio of Patanjali Ayurved now. So that will complete the, all that the parent company has, other than the medicines and other business, a lot of other activities that they have. But I think for the listed entity, this will complete a process. And I think this allows us to now build up a growth momentum or